Hey guys, I'm Pixel Dan, and this is a review of the Masters of the Universe Classics, Mekaneck. Mekaneck is one of those classic Masters characters that could be considered a heavy hitter, since he is often seen as a core member of the heroic warriors. His vintage figure is also mostly remembered for his neck extending action feature. So how does this character translate into the Classics toy line? Let's find out. Mekaneck comes in the standard Masters of the Universe Classics blister card packaging. The back of that package gives us a look at some of the other figures in the Classics line, as well as provides us with a brand new bio from Mekaneck. In typical style for this toy line, Mekaneck here is a straight translation of his vintage action figure. The figure features his red and silver armor, green belt, silver boots, and blue bodysuit. It's vintage all the way, but featuring a really nice paint job. The blue has this really nice wash on it that helps to bring out the figure sculpt. The armor is touched up nicely with a metallic silver paint job. That same metallic silver can be seen on the boots, which is accented by darker silver paint on the wraps. Even his belt has a nice green metallic paint deco. So all of the colors on this guy are very clean and vibrant. The head features his signature angular helmet, complete with giant silver goggles. While it does not feature the vac metal silver of the vintage figure, the silver of the goggles still has a nice metallic shine. Now, there is one small issue I have with this helmet. When you look at the figure from certain angles, it's obvious that his goggles do not line up with his eyes underneath. It sort of looks like the helmet needs to be pushed down a little farther on his face, but the helmet is glued on in place and cannot be removed or pushed down with pressure alone. And it does not appear that there are any eyes painted or sculpted on his face underneath, at least not from what I can tell. Like I said, it's only really noticeable from certain angles, and it's not too bad, but once you see it, you can't unsee it. Alright guys, so let's take a closer look at Mekaneck. So first things first, let's go ahead and run down the articulation on this guy. He uses the standard buck. He's a very basic figure using a lot of parts we've already seen before, so there's really no surprises there. His head is able to turn left and right, slightly up and down there. Of course, you got the torso turn there and the torso bend, so you can move up and down. The armor does not get in the way of that at all. The arms swivel up and down, move outwards, swivels at the biceps, single joint at the elbow, swivel at the wrist. You got a nice range of motion in the thighs there. You can move forwards, backwards. You can get the figure to sit down. The loincloth is nice and soft. Got a regular joint at the knee there, as well as your swivels at the thighs. You got the swivel at the boot cut and your standard ankle joint. Also, all of the joints on this guy, nice and tight. So I don't have any problems with him standing up, anything like that. The ankles are great, so everything is good as far as the articulation goes. So the armor that Mekaneck is wearing is what we've already seen with Stinkor. So again, no surprises there. It's exactly what we expected. Just has a nice shiny new paint job, so it's red with some nice shiny silver. It does still have that little hole in the back where Stinkor's tank's plugged into, so you could always plug something into the back of this armor if you wanted to. Removes the same way as with Stinkor. Just pops off down here. It is a softer armor piece, so it's a little flexible. You can see the little front piece there is a little softer. It bends around. And of course you can pop off Mekaneck's head, and you can pull the armor off that way if you want to do so. So I think all of that's pretty standard. The thing that is new with Mekaneck, of course, is his neck feature, his extendable neck. Now, of course, that was the action feature in the classic line, but the way that it always worked on the old toy line is you had to twist his body, and the neck would raise up from inside the torso. Of course, one of the bad things about that was that you always had to turn his waist in order to get the neck up, and then if you wanted to pose him like that, well, you were stuck with his torso being twisted. And that's something that always bugged me. So I think it's really cool the way we get to do the neck feature on this new figure. So Mekaneck comes with 2 different neck attachments so that we can get some different lengths. We've got one that is a 2-inch length and one that is a 5-inch length. I mean, it is almost the same height as the action figure, so that is really cool. There's some cool sculpting on there. They are nice and solid, very solid. You can see they are not flexible hardly at all. So they don't bend, they're not gonna, fold under pressure or anything like that. They are very, very solid. They do have a blue collar piece at the bottom, and it just has the standard ball joint at the bottom to attach to the body, and then the ball joint at the top that's going to attach to the head. So I think you can understand exactly what to expect here. You just pop off the head, pop on the neck attachment in its place, put the head on top, and now we have our Mekaneck with extended neck. And you don't have to twist the body to do it. Boom. You can still fully pose the figure, and on top of that, the head can roll around at the neck joint there, and they can also move around on the top, which is cool because that gives us some different posing options, which we've never had with Mekaneck before. You can kind of lean the neck forward a little bit, lean it backwards, side to side, rotate it around. It's really, really cool looking, and it works very well. It's a very effective feature. So, let's pop that off there so we can get a look at the huge neck extension. You remember in the cartoon, especially the 2000X cartoon, Mekaneck was able to just keep extending his neck. I mean, it seemed like there was no end to how long his neck could actually grow. So it's kind of neat that they included this feature. Look at that. It's freaking massive. It's really cool, too, because I've been able to pose him just fine with it. Of course, he's going to be a little top heavy because he's got the longer neck, but you can find proper ways to balance him so that he still stands on his own with that long neck attached. And again, it can rotate around at the neck at the bottom there. You can move the head around on the top. That is a really, really cool way to pose the figure. Now, I know what you're already thinking. Can we stack these two together? Can we make it even longer than it is? Well, yes. This is the only downfall. Remember, it's got that blue piece on it, the collar piece. So they do fit together, but you're going to have that little blue ring in the middle. But as long as you don't mind that, it does snap together nice and firm. You can snack Mech's head on top of that. And now we have this ridiculous 7-inch long neck on top of our 7-inch tall action figure. That is ridiculous and awesome. And I can already imagine people buying multiple Mekanecks and stacking this as tall as they could possibly get it. I want to see that happen. I hope somebody out there buys a whole bunch of Mekanecks and just keeps stacking the neck, because that's just cool, man. The neck attachments look really great on this figure and are a very good way to capture the action feature of the vintage action figure without actually including that feature. It's also nice to finally have a Mekaneck posed with his neck extended without his torso having to be twisted. Mech also includes one weapon in the form of his classic yellow club. The club is made of a nice sturdy plastic, so it's not too gummy. It also features a really nice two-tone yellow paint job, with all of the little sculpted bits done in a metallic yellow that makes the design really stand out. The weapon can be held in either hand and helps to fully complete the vintage look of this character. Alright guys, it's comparison time! Here's a look at Classics Mekaneck alongside the vintage version, where you can really see just how close their designs are. And here he is alongside the 2000X version, where there were some differences on this particular figure, including changes to the gloves, the boots, and the color of his goggles. Seeing these two side by side, I personally feel that the all-vintage style was the right way to go for the Classics figure. Mekaneck is an important character to add to your Heroic Warrior shelf. He's an iconic classic character that many have been waiting for some time. He's one of those figures that came out of this line that is almost a near-perfect update of the vintage action figure.
He is an incredible update, sporting a really nice new paint job and an awesome recreation of his action feature. If it weren't for that helmet not quite sitting right on his head, he would probably be considered perfect. But that one small blemish is keeping him from hitting that status, in my opinion. But even still, he is a great all-around figure, and he's sure to still make many collectors very happy. Mekaneck is part of the 2012 Club Eternia subscription service, and will be available on MattyCollector.com on September 17th, 2012. Until next time,